Stéphane Charbonnier, 2011, his satirical French magazine Charlie Hebdo publishes a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad and names him as its editor-in-chief for the next issue. Their offices are firebombed, but no one is hurt.
One has the impression that everybody's driven by fear. That's what this small handful of fundamentalists that doesn't represent anyone wants to do, govern through fear.
In today's attack, tragically, Charbonnier and 11 others are killed. Also on Al-Qaeda's most wanted list, Theo Van Gogh's partner in that controversial film Submission, Ajaan Hirsi Ali.
And we're joined now by Ajaan Hirsi Ali. It's good to have you on the program again. Thanks for being with us. First of all, just on a personal level, as someone who has been targeted for years now for your work, for your statements, for your beliefs, what was your reaction when you heard what happened today?
Anderson, thank you for having me. Good to speak to you again. I'm in a state of shock, like the rest of us. For the second time, I'm in a state of grief. I'm mourning the loss of, I would say, the entire staff, nearly, of Charlie Hebdo. The way I had to mourn and grieve Theo Van Gogh, whom I knew personally. And it's a different sort of grieving, but ultimately it's the same thing. When you live the way I live, you have to ask yourself over and over again, who are these people who want to kill me, and what do they want from me? What is it that drives them? And over again, I come to the conclusion that this is not some kind of random event. These are not some, a bunch of deranged thugs. This is a movement. It's an ideology. The people who are doing this have a vision, and they're united around that vision. And it's embedded in a world religion and a world civilization. And I'll come to that part later. But this is what I have to say to myself. The grim truth is, for me to be safe, I have to outlive a generation of young minds who are polluted, whose minds are contaminated with this ideology. And what we've seen today, this morning, is it is a massacre of individuals who stood up to that ideology, who said, we are going to fight for the freedom of speech, for the freedom of conscience, because this is what our society is about. This is who we are. This is what civilization is. And how we respond to what happened today, not only in terms of policing, not only in terms of, the right thing to do about finding the guys and bringing them to justice, that is going to happen. I'm confident that's going to happen. But how the rest of us, and especially the press responds, is of great consequence.
Your name is on a wanted poster that was put out by Al-Qaeda magazine, Inspire, in March of 2013, the same wanted poster that included the editor of Charlie Hebdo, who was killed in today's attack. Unlike Majid Nawaz, who we just had on, you don't make a distinction between radical Islam per se and Islam itself. As President George Bush said, the U.S. isn't at war against Islam, it's against radical Islam and extremists. For you, though, you don't make such a distinction.
I make a distinction, but the distinction is in a different way from Majid's. I agree with President Bush, I agree with President Obama, and with all the leaders of the civilized world that we are not at war with Islam. But within Islam is a radical movement that has declared war on us. And that radical movement, regardless of their number, they are a minority, but that minority has declared war on us. And in that asymmetric relationship, you have irregular warfare, and we have to respond to them, not only in taking out their leaders, not only with military means and surveillance means, but we also have to get to the bottom of it and see where the ideas are coming from. And it's very grim, it's very sad. It's the religion I was brought up in. It's the religion of my mother.
You're saying this is not just a fight, a military fight, a police fight. This is a fight of ideas as well.
This is a fight of ideas. This is a fight of visions. We have a movement that is transnational. that has the resources, that has the conviction, and they want to impose their vision of what they believe on the rest of us. And the more we ignore the ideological components of this equation, the more we get ourselves into the situation we are in now.
Ajaan Hirsi Ali, we're going to have more with you in our next hour. You're going to be joined by Majid Nawaz, and we'll talk. It's an important discussion to have, and I want to go into greater depth with it in our next hour. We're just getting our first report of a suspect in custody in these killings. There have been unconfirmed reports earlier. We are working to firm up some of the details. We're going to bring them to you momentarily. Just ahead, President Obama says the attack here in Paris shows how much terrorists fear freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. We'll have more of the response from the White House next. Stick around.